Hello, lovelies. Welcome to this episode of Lessons from the Universe with Jennifer Hall. I look forward to sharing my channeled message with you today. And if you love it, please remember to like, share, review, and subscribe. So, obviously, we need breath to live. But it is so much more than that. More even than breath to chill or relax or meditate or whatever. The training of our breath can be the deal maker as we level up through life and awakening, awareness, peace, joy, all of it. We can create a habit of steady, full, deep breathing. A habit, meaning that with minimal effort, it can become a part of our new normal. Throwback to episode 14. First, though, let's talk about science. If you have been listening very long, you know that I love science. The vagus nerve. This guy is the man. The vagus nerve activates your calm, your ultimate superpower. The relaxation response of your parasympathetic, say that 3 times fast, nervous system. It stimulates the vagus nerve. Your breath does. And stimulating the vagus nerve reduces stress, anxiety, anger, fight or flight response, heart rate, even inflammation within the body. This is all good stuff. And yes, you can call this in with your breath. If you can, breathe in through your nose. Again, science. There are electrical signals in there that wake up the memory and the emotional centers of the brain. Think emotional intelligence and discrimination, the ability to react from calm, from recognition of all of the layers that contribute to an experience. Your past, the other person's past, how you're feeling that day, the weather, all of it. The ability to see through all of that with much more ease and speed. And, well, better memory, duh. We all need that, right? And with the breathing out, well, that is the stress release, the calm inducing. It's amazing and undeniable. In fact, they did some testing on Marines, and the Marines that came in with a better, deeper, more complete use of the breath were way, way, way less likely to leave with PTSD. They did another study on college students and discovered that those who had better breath control were much less stressed, had lower biomarkers for stress. Your body wants this, but every time we get hurt or scared or whatever, we hold our breath, and then it screws up the rhythm. And our body tries to warn us. That's what a yawn is. Right? It's not just about being tired. A yawn comes when we're not breathing. We're not breathing completely. We're not releasing the carbon dioxide and replacing it with oxygen. The body says, give me more. And we brush it off as, oh man, I'm tired. The power of the breath is pretty incredible. And it's commonly taught as a defense mechanism in particular circumstances, right? I'm suddenly thinking about, Lamaze classes. The only real limitation here to all of it is time, right? I mean, for everybody that's thinking, duh. Duh, I breathe when I'm stressed out. I know to take a deep breath when, I'm doing something scary or whatever. Okay, but this is so often just something that people do in a moment of stress. They're half-assing it. We need to have mastery of our breath 24/7. We need to be breathing completely, using every cell, every little vesicle within our lungs. We need to be breathing down to the very bottom of our lungs. We can't allow that air at the very bottom, at the end of our reserves, we can't allow that to sit there and be stale. I don't know how many of you have a safe, okay? Even a small safe. Like, if you don't open that thing up very often, when you do, oh, it smells terrible. That stale air, right? Gross. That's the bottom of your lungs if you're not using it deeply. We can master deep breathing 24/7. Think about that. It's just a skill. It's a habit like good posture. You know, people always comment about my calm. I have to tell you that it started with mastery of my breath long before I knew the science. For me, it started when someone suggested that the air trapped in the bottom of my lungs was not only old and disgusting, but also had remnants of experience and emotion and everything else. And I just thought, oh, gross. And I started to pay attention. Most of us, most people, only breathe into like the top third of their lungs. Pay attention. Are you breathing shallow? Maybe if they've been thinking about deep breathing, they breathe 2/3 of the way into their lungs. But this is not complete. This is not all of it. This is not the max of your capacity. And yes, at first it will feel strange, but in time it can become your normal. There is a common belief, training, whatever, in belly breathing. Now, belly breathing is helpful, right? That's when you expand your belly and, take in a big breath that way. And that does get oxygen very quickly to your brain, but it doesn't actually expand your lungs completely because you're pushing your belly out and all those muscles and things actually push up against your lungs. That's not helping you. There is a form of breathing that goes along with pranayama. And to simplify it for our purposes today, it is, in my mind, the most effective way to make sure that you are breathing with all of your lungs. When you breathe in, you go against this whole belly breathing idea and you actually pull your abdomen in. You pull in the muscles and you breathe in. That forces air down into your lungs, right? It's not a balloon, though it does help to think about it that way. And when you breathe out, that's when you push the belly out. The pushing of the belly out, it actually contracts those muscles that push out the air from the bottom of your lungs. You pull in the belly as you breathe in, and you push out the belly as you breathe out. It also takes more thought because it's not what we're used to. And it helps us focus more on the lungs, particularly there at the bottom, that symbolic emptying of the last remnants of what we no longer want. Now, I personally was so caught up on this idea of the old trapped inside of me that I did everything I could to clear it out. Y'all have heard me talk about those little rebounders, those little trampolines, right? I would jump on one of those and I would breathe out as hard as I could. You could jump rope or whatever, but we want to clear all that out, right? And at first, it will just be during those focused moments when we're thinking about it, when we remember to consciously breathe in and breathe out deeply and steadily. And that's fine. But we must remain clear. The goal is actually continual control of the breath, habitual control of the breath. We we need to breathe in and out with balance. We need to make it steady and peaceful. If you've ever taken a yoga class, I would guesstimate 1 in 3 yoga teachers remembers to remind her students in every class to breathe in and count and breathe out and count and to make those equal. If you breathe in for a count of 3, you breathe out for a count of 3. If you breathe in for 4, you breathe out for 4. You want it to be steady. This steady, calm rate of breathing is what activates the vagus nerve and your peacefulness. It's what gets enough oxygen pumping through your lungs and the rest of your body that you have clarity of your emotions, clarity of your memory, and clarity of your spiritual gifts. We must work to maintain this breathing in all arenas of life, especially if we're excited or agitated. Side note, if it's motivation for you, it is the cornerstone of tantric sex. And so we need to practice. If you have a smartwatch, some of them have HRV monitors in them. That's heart rate variance or variable or whatever. It uses the heart rate to help determine if you're breathing well. And it can vibrate to remind you to breathe more deeply. This is a great tool if you're someone who responds to tools like that. Or put sticky notes up, whatever you need to do. Pick certain times of day. But start to consciously think about your breathing. To get all the way in to the bottom of those lungs. To breathe fully and with calm. Steady in, steady out. It will change your life. It changed mine. It started to turn corners for me. It kept me calm in times when others were not. And cultivating it as my normal has done nothing but benefit my life, my human experiences, my interactions with my children, with other people, and absolutely my ability to ascertain information from my spiritual gifts. If we are overexcited or frightened, we cannot interpret things correctly. We need calm for that. I very proudly and with great confidence say that calm is my superpower. And I cultivated calm by cultivating my breath. You can do it too. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 3. Breathe out through your mouth for a count of 3. Repeat this calmly as many times as you feel that you have time for. If right now it's once a day for 3 breaths, that's fine. But don't let it stay that way for too long. If you will take me seriously, you'll make it your goal. And by the end of the week, it will be your new normal. It's a habit, beloved. Like anything else, habits are easy to make, and they're harder to break. And in this case, that will work to your advantage. Until next time, beloved, namaste.
Hi, beauties. My name is Megan, and I couldn't pass up an opportunity to share who Jennifer Hall really is with all of you. Jennifer is a gifted woman who loves to share the tips and tricks of mastering lessons from the universe through real-life experiences. When I found Jennifer about 2 years ago, I did not know what to expect. My past conditioning had me fearing psychics and avoiding them, and that was something I overcame within my first conversation with Jennifer. She has no desire to control you or make decisions for you, but she will tell you what's best for your highest good, and it's up to you to do the work or not. It's very common for people to seek out a psychic to read the future, and sure, it's human nature to want to know what we don't know, to find the certainty in life. But what you actually get through Jennifer is so much deeper than knowing with certainty. It's really about how to grow through the uncertainty and embrace the power each of us hold deep within our own sovereignty and untapped gifts. Jennifer has helped me grow through many lessons in life. Relationship lessons with my husband of 15 years, my gifted and stubborn children, career lessons that involved overcoming complacency and dealing with difficult bosses, and of course, lessons for my spiritual growth and tapping into and embodying my own authenticity. Her podcast, Lessons from the Universe, is food for the soul. It is channeled wisdom, and it is personal wisdom that she picked up as she learned and grew into who she is today. Jennifer is well known and sought out. I have people from all over the world reaching out to me to provide a referral to her so that she can speak with them and they're able to meet her. This podcast makes it possible for people all over the world to receive her messages and receive the love that she pours into the collective. If you aren't a patron today, please consider becoming one and donating as much as $1 per month. If all of her beloved fans donated just $1, it would make an amazing impact on her offerings to the world. I meet with Jennifer monthly, and I'm also a patron because I believe so much in the lessons from the universe. And I have witnessed the beauty in learning and growing, the beauty in overcoming and smashing the many bubbles of conditioning that I succumbed to in my past. I have a new, more powerful story, and a big part of this story is embracing lessons from the universe. Your story will continue to change, and your donations will help many others change their stories across the globe, allowing the story of the collective to change for the best as well. If you love and live through the lessons from the universe as much as I do, like, share, and become a patron, and watch lessons from the universe take the rest of the world by surprise in the best ways possible. Sending light and love to all of you. Namaste.
I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today for this episode of Lessons from the Universe with Jennifer Hall. If you haven't already, come out and find me on social media, and if you're inspired by the podcast, please consider clicking that little green patron button at the top of the screen. Here, you can help keep us growing and flowing, and you can gain access to what I call Jen in real life. That is patron-only content. If you're wanting to learn more, I recently introduced educational sessions specifically to address people's questions that come up around the podcast. These are the only sessions available to new clients, and you can find details in the About section of my Facebook page. I want to send each of you light and love, clarity and wisdom, and know that whether you realize it or not, there's a little brunette with a podcast who's got your back. Until next time, beloved, namaste.